Welcome back to Think What You May, where we explore the stories the establishment would rather keep quiet. In this startling clip, Tucker Carlson sits down with Dutch legal philosopher and commentator Eva Vlaardingerbroek to discuss a shocking development. She has been effectively banned from entering the United Kingdom. Eva reveals the contents of a letter from the British government stating her presence is not conducive to the public good, a decision she believes is direct retaliation for her criticism of Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Is the UK descending into totalitarianism by barring political dissidents while borders remain open? Watch this clip and decide for yourself.
Eva, this is, I was reading this story this morning and I was thinking, I can't believe they did this to a Dutch journalist. Then I saw the name. I was like, wait, I know her. I can't believe this happened. So I just want to read you back to you, the letter that you received from the British government to confirm that you actually received this. It's to you, and it says your UK visa basically has been canceled. This means you cannot travel to the UK without a visa. This is because, I'm quoting, this is because your presence in the UK is not considered to be productive to the public good. You cannot appeal this decision. Did you actually receive that letter?
I did, and relatively out of the blue too. I mean, I was going through my emails yesterday and I saw the subject line saying that they changed something to my ETA application. I was like, what is this? I didn't apply for an ETA. I'm not, planning on traveling to the UK right now. So I just opened it and I saw this you have the email. It's a very short, simple email. And it just said, we revoked your ETA because we consider you not conducive to the public good and you have no right to appeal. Bye. That was it. And so I was like, what? What is this? And then, I started thinking, like, what could this be? Why are they sending this to me now? And then I realized that I criticized Keir Starmer a couple of days earlier on X.
Well, so I'm going to read you the quote. I think I have it in front. You described Starmer, who's the prime minister of the country, the elected official, as an evil, despicable man for allowing the ongoing rape and killing of British girls by a migrant rape gang. So
guilty as charged.
You're making a political point, an entirely defensible political point, and you believe that because you said that, you are now banned from the country.
I really don't see any other reason as to why they otherwise would have done this right now. As I said, I applied for this electronic travel authorization back in September because I went and spoke at the Unite the Kingdom rally organized by Tommy Robinson. And I spoke about remigration and the need for that. And, now because of Brexit, Europeans have to apply for an ETA, as when we go to America, we have to apply for an ESTA, right? And this was approved back in September within minutes. Like, I just got it. No problems, no questions asked. And now, out of the blue, as I said, I received that email saying they revoked it. And I'm not traveling to the United Kingdom anytime soon. I didn't book any tickets, to fly there. So the only thing that I could think about was that I said what I said about Keir Starmer. I still stand by it, by the way. Just 3 days before they informed me of that decision. So, it's really hard not to connect the dots there. And it's also very much in line with his track record. And I suppose it proves my point, that the UK is on a path to become a very unfree country where dissident voices are criticized, people are thrown in jail. And obviously, I'm not a citizen of the United Kingdom, so they can't do that to me. But this is something that they can do, apparently.
The continent is descending into darkness once again, clearly. What do you think, big picture, this tells us about what's happening in Europe and the UK specifically?
In the UK, this is the definition of a totalitarian state, right? This is the definition of a dictatorship in the sense that you are apparently not allowed to criticize its supreme leader without having your freedoms limited. And this is quite a severe limitation of my freedom in the sense that I was given no due process. I was not given a warning. I have no right to appeal. That's what it stated in the email. for the crime, quote unquote, of giving my opinion. And so that is bad. That is not, that's not a normal way for things to happen in so-called free societies. So, no matter what you think my opinions are, if they're right, wrong, radical, not radical, should it be a ground for a government to say to a woman with no criminal record whatsoever, who wants to visit a country for, just a couple of days, once a year, maybe tops, to say, no, you're not allowed, but we are going to allow thousands of illegal immigrants to cross the channel every day and enter the UK, and nobody's asking them anything. They're not asking their passports, so let alone whether they're asking if they're conducive to the public good. I mean, that is an incredibly dystopian thing to read. Since when is being conducive to the public good a requirement to enter a country? And also, who decides that? And why do I have no right to appeal? Those are serious things in countries that claim to uphold the rule of law, that claim to be democracies. And I guess we already knew, that those were, let's say, illusions in our countries at this point. But to have it, happen to you in such a personal manner, I now realize that I cannot go and visit many of my friends. I can't go to the next rally, which is planned for May. I cannot set foot in a country that I otherwise love. I don't love the establishment, but I love the people, and I would have loved to go there again.
And of course, the UK arrests far more people every year for criticizing the British government than Putin has arrested for criticizing him, or the Saudis have arrested for criticizing MBS. I mean, it's not just repressive, it's far more repressive than countries we are told are authoritarian or totalitarian. I mean, it's worse.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And the same thing is happening on the continent in Europe, by the way. I mean, good that you bring up Russia, because I don't know. I think not many people are aware of this, but something incredible happened here just a month ago, where the European Union put out sanctions, like restrictive measures, and placed them on European citizens who they claim, and I quote, were distributing or manipulating false information. So they were saying that these citizens were destabilizing Ukraine on behalf of the Russian government. That's at least their claim, by manipulating information in the European Union. But as far as I know, Ukraine is not a member of the European Union. So why would they feel the need to protect, the stability of that nation? And second of all, those people just received, again, just like me, they just received that decision by the European Union. And what happened to them is far worse than what happened to me, because they froze their assets and they said, you are not allowed to travel. And this was a decision made by the European Council. No due process, no court order, no fair trial, nothing. So the European Union is doing that to its own citizens under the pretext of, sanctioning Russia. But these are individuals. These are people whose lives have been destroyed. And it's not getting any media attention whatsoever. But this happened just a month ago. So, there is clearly an increasing totalitarian wind blowing through this continent. And apart from this travel ban, I've also personally fallen victim to it just last year, receiving a notification from Apple saying that my phone is under mercenary spyware attack. So, you see, there is a trend here. Like, we have governments, we don't know exactly which one, or the EU, freezing assets of citizens, looking at me and you probably as we speak through this phone right now. Like, again, that is not what is supposed to happen in democratic societies, especially not when those people doing it are the ones who constantly trumpet that. So it's pretty bad over here. I'm really actually very concerned as to where this is heading.
That was a chilling look at the state of free speech in Europe. Eva Vlaardingerbroek, argues that we are witnessing a double standard where political critics are treated as threats to national security without due process, while actual crime and illegal migration go unchecked. What is your take? Is the UK government protecting its citizens, or are they weaponizing travel bans to silence opposition? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, please like and subscribe to Think What You May for more unfiltered conversations. Thanks for watching.